Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, it finally happened. The government, the US government, has been reopened. So, this is good, right? Let's talk about it. Why this is so significant. Why it's good. And what's next for Bitcoin and crypto? All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out a day slightly, just slightly higher than yesterday, 102.3. Last night, actually, we got a little bump up. We went to like 104, 104-ish. And then we kind of slid back down a little bit. So it does seem like there are people that are still trying to suppress Bitcoin and crypto overall. Why is that? Well, I'll get to that in a little bit. But first things first, let's talk about the US market opening up slightly red. Dow slightly red, NASDAQ slightly red. Most things slightly red right now. And that comes a day after the government shutdown vote or reopening vote. How do you say it? The end of the government shutdown, I should say, because the House voted, it passed, and then Trump signed it. So now the government is not shut down anymore. The funny thing is about this is the fact that this only extends it until like this disagreement over the healthcare cost, the Affordability Act, is only extended until January. And then they're going to like re-vote or something in December. So this is just like a temporary extension. So it's a little weird. But whatever. They needed to do what they needed to do to get things done. Right? A lot of Democrats actually turned to vote yes. Some Republicans actually turned to say no. But overall, they got the number of yeses they needed. Okay, 222 and then 209 saying no. So the good thing is, for now, this is a resolved issue. Hundreds of thousands. Last time I saw it was like 700,000 employees that were furloughed. Now they could get back to work. And maybe we can finally start getting some data that we've been missing. The White House actually says whatever we missed last month, we may never get again, which is kind of silly. Because all that information is stored in a computer somewhere. It's not like they didn't collect it. It's not like it's paper that were like lost or burned or something like that. No, it's all in the computer. So to say we'll never get that data is the silliest thing ever. Okay, everything's digital, everything's stored, everything is backed up. I'm sure if it's not backed up, it's kind of stupid. But going forward, we can finally get some data. We've been missing a lot of it. Okay, so and why is that important? Well, it's always important to know if our economy is doing well or not. Jobs data, inflation data, all that stuff. And it relates to future rate cuts, like the one coming next month and the ones coming in 2026, right? People want data. People don't want to be sitting in the dark. So we'll finally get that back. And finally, all these flights, okay, the cancellations, the decrease of number of flights should be coming to an end. The Department of Transportation already is like freezing the flight cuts. It was up to like 6% of flights were frozen or cut. And now they're trying to decrease that as much as possible. So this is good before Thanksgiving and Christmas. So good things all around. Good things all around, at least for now. At least for now. But going back to Bitcoin and crypto, how does this affect things? Well, let me get to that. Yesterday, Bitcoin had a pretty substantial outflow. The weird thing is the day before, we had a massive inflow out of nowhere. And then yesterday we had an outflow. It wasn't as big as the inflow day, but still, it reversed. It shows you that Wall Street, there are still many on Wall Street that are just like very finicky. They just flip-flop whenever, you know, something happens or they get fearful. Ethereum outflow was pretty massive too, 184 million. The only star is the Solana ETF, which actually pulled in a decent amount, 18 million. And Solana ETF continues to pull in rather than have any outflow, so that's good. But, you know, right now it just seems like, yeah, Wall Street's kind of fearful too about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you'll have one good day and one bad day, and then it's like flip-flopping. Not like the long-term holders, okay, or the people that truly understand that keeps on loading up. Wall Street, kind of like retail right now. Kind of like retail right now. And retail right now is really fearful, extremely fearful. I didn't know this until I checked it. I didn't think that we were actually even more fearful than before. The greed and fear index is now down to 15. Just last week, I was mentioning about how we haven't seen a level like 22, which is extreme fear also, since April. Now 15 goes back even further to March when things were even worse. Right now, retail sentiment is just bad, really bad. And this also shows it. Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP. This is just from sentiment. It's just measuring comments. Bullish versus bearish comments. And everything is bearish right now. I'm probably the only person that is still bullish. But yeah, the sentiment is bad. That's why some on Wall Street is also feeling the same thing. Feeling pretty stressed, fearful, thinking that the run is over and we're about to enter crypto winter. But let me show you some counterpoints to that, okay? For example, Vanguard. Vanguard, along with BlackRock, pretty much own the world, okay? They are the largest asset managers. They hold over 10 trillion. I think BlackRock is like 13, 14 trillion. Vanguard's right up there, okay? So why is it that Vanguard is buying, even though they don't have their own ETF, and even though the CEO is not like Larry Fink, not like so bullish on Bitcoin, but they continue to load up on Bitcoin treasury companies, Bitcoin mining companies, anything related with Bitcoin and crypto, they are loading up. There's a reason for that, okay? They don't want to be as outspoken as Saylor or maybe even Fink. They don't want to disclose their moves behind the doors, right? There's a reason why these guys are doing that. Just think about it, right? All the suppression, manipulation I've been saying is done for a reason. If it's done for no reason and it's really just like everyone just selling, right? Then that would not, then we wouldn't get no, like, the fundamentals would be crashing. We would be getting no indications that people are loading up anymore. And we would be falling much, much worse. But like these big boys continue to load up, and that tells you something. And, you know, part of fundamentals, you still have countries, not just entities, countries looking and talking about Bitcoin and trying to create a national reserve. Taiwan is a small country, but still very rich, very powerful. And they want to start their own Bitcoin treasury, along with all these other countries that are talking about it. And of course, the US already has one, and then China, and then Russia, and then everyone else, right? So again, that tells you something. It tells you that Bitcoin's not going to go away. It's not dead. The ultra big institutions of whales are still loading up. And countries are going to be loading up. France recently talked about it. And then was it Germany? Well, they had one day, but they're talking about getting it back. I mean, you're talking about all these countries now that are trying to create their own Bitcoin treasury. That tells you something. That tells you something. Also, what people don't see or pay attention to is the Bitcoin reserves on the exchanges have fallen drastically, okay, over this last year. I think a lot of that has to do with ETFs. People see, you know, like I cover these ETF outflows periodically, but people don't realize how much is still sitting in the funds, like a lot. But if you look at in cumulative, over this last year, 800,000 Bitcoin has been taken off the exchange. It was almost 1 million. That's a huge amount. A huge amount. And just the last 30 days alone, while things have been rocky and violent and volatile, 118,000 Bitcoin disappeared from the exchanges just the last 30 days alone. This is significant. Going forward, right, we know that the demand is going to go up, supply continues to decrease. So you do the math, right? And there are less and less Bitcoin available on the exchanges. And we know, we talk about OTC sometimes too, because a lot of these guys like Sailor, when they pick up, they only buy OTC. So some people have said, well, you know, if they're all buying OTC, it's not going to affect anything. No, I mean, because there's only so many Bitcoin out there. So even if they're buying OTC, that market's going to dry up just like spot on exchanges. And they're all coming from the same source anyways. When people buy OTC, what does that mean? Normally they just go to Coinbase or go to like, you know, Gemini or Kraken. So it's coming from the same places. It's just being sold differently. But there's no mistake that the supply is decreasing right in front of our eyes. Again, not everyone's selling. Retail may be scared and selling. But man, there's still a lot of whales and institutions that are loading up. You just don't notice it right now. There are a lot. Here's something else too that shows you. Holders between 1 to 10,000 Bitcoin in their wallets. Look at how the price, I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but at the very right side, how the pink has gone up drastically while the price has gone down. Because again, those guys are loading up right now while everyone else is panicking. So think about that for a second. It's very important. Very important. That's why I've been saying for like weeks and months, right? I know that things seem to be manipulated, suppressed, right? Obviously, we had a lot of macro stuff that had caused issues like the government shutdown and the tariff situations, all that. But you look at like the manipulation of price, the liquidations that continue to happen. I got another example of that. And everything that we've seen internally in crypto just seems like it's all meant or done purposely because something's big is about to happen, right? It's like these liquidation events or liquidity events are basically a way to like drive as many people out as possible. That's what it seems like, to me at least. Because if you look at the fundamentals, they haven't changed. Fundamentals are great and only improving. So, you know, it just seems like this is all building up to something big. And if you're looking at the charts, like for example, this, Bitcoin is holding at a support level, one that it bounced off of many times in the past few years. You could see it happened in 2023 multiple times. It happened in 2024, even happened this year in 2025. All those times we dropped down to a level that got really depressing. We had a lot of liquidations, kind of like what we're going through. Fear level high, retail is given up, alts were basically destroyed in each one of these events. And then guess what? We turned around and went higher. It just feels like that is what's happening right now. This is all done to drive people out. Here's another example of that. We've seen a lot of these scary periods, a lot of these liquidation events, right? And then guess what happens? Eventually we break out of it and we continue higher. I saw something, I don't have it with me, but I saw something from Bitwise's CIO. And he claims that all this is leading to something great in 2026. So here's the thing. Most of us have this timeline that the cycle is going to end in December, because based on previous, it's a smart observation, because because all previous cycles have ended right around November, December. So I get that. But we know this cycle has been different because of the ETF introductions and because institutions leading, right? So Bitwise thinks that all this is done, the suppression, the correction, the manipulation is all done because we're going to have a fantastic 2026. And they believe that 2025 is not the end of this cycle and we're going to continue forward. And I've said that too. I think it looks more and more like that's going to be a scenario. That we're not going to enter crypto winter come January and slide down 80%. We'll just continue forward. And in fact, everything that we're going through right now, it's building something huge in 2026. I guess we'll see. We don't have too long to wait. All right. Outside of this, what else is there? There are a lot of XRP whales that are loading up on XRP. I did notice yet last night it did jump up like 5-6%. I don't know if it retraced all the way down, but I think this could be because of the XRP ETFs that are coming. I think it was supposed to be like tomorrow or something, or maybe today. But anyways, a lot of people like XRP. Like, Solana ETFs are the only thing that are taking inflows right now. So XRP ETFs probably do very well. And then lastly, I was talking about like the manipulation and stuff, whales that kind of cause a lot of problems. I just picked this up. Popcat, which is like a relatively known meme coin. It got big earlier this year. Now it's slowed down a little bit. There's this whale that basically spent and lost $3 million, okay, to cause a whole bunch of people to FOMO and get liquidated. But their intention was to make Hyperliquid lose $5 million, which worked. So just think about that. There are whales that are willing to lose $3 million of their own money just to cause Hyperliquid and other users on the platform to lose more. That's a clear example, I think, of what's happening right now. Right? When you see these large liquidation events, when you see all these like huge drops and longs getting liquid left and right, the whales, no doubt, that are causing it, they're losing some in the game, but they're causing more people to lose more because they have more money. They can do this. This $3 million to this one whale may not be much. Maybe he's a billionaire. So this is a clear example of what's happening right now. And most of us don't realize it. If you look at like Popcat today, like they're down like 30%. And it's due to this. This whale deposited $3 million, created all these longs, like these buy walls, caused a lot of people to FOMO thinking that it will go up. And then whatever they did caused everything to go down and get liquidated. And then the $3 million from the whale was liquidated, but it caused a whole lot more people liquidated, and it caused Hyperliquid to have problems because they didn't have enough liquidity. And it just like, I don't understand it all, but this is DeFi, and there's a lot of very smart people in there that manipulate things and cause things to go bad. But again, this overall, I think on a grander scale, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing some groups or someone or some company, starting with a B in this name, that may be causing all this and just trying to drive as many people out as possible, getting ready for what's coming. It's just done on a grander scale now. That's all. That's all. All right. That is it. Let's see. Bitwise Solana ETF turned green. That's positive. That's very positive. Coinbase is not green. AMD had a good day, not green. Robinhood not green. I don't know. I don't know why people keep selling off Robinhood now. It's like makes no sense. Bitcoin is still green. 1027, a little bit higher than when I started talking. And Clash is still holding strong at 38 million. Despite all the volatilities, the number of holders still strong and climbing. Despite Sol not doing too good, we are definitely the strongest project in Solana right now. All right. We're heading up a little bit. Let's see if we go back to 104, 106. I see, like, if you look at the liquidity levels, let's just bring that up right now. If you look at liquidity levels right here, 104.3. So this is why last night we couldn't break through it. There's a lot of shorts waiting to get liquidated at 104.3 or 104.4. And then after you break that, it goes up pretty much to 106. So, and then on the bottom, we got a lot of long levels that were wiped out. But next level to break is really 104.4, and then we go head back to 106. And heading back to 110, there's not that much there. It's just we need a little push upwards. But that's where I expect us to be if we continue our upwards movement. We should have a good short squeeze and have a lot of shorters liquidated. But we'll see. All right. Let's do some Q&A. I just noticed this on the bottom. So join the leap, real prizes and risk-free contests. What is this? Risk-free trading competitions with real money prizes and real practice for grads. Pick your contest and prove your edge. Interesting. Interesting. Basically, they want you to trade to win prizes. You know what else gives you real prizes and you don't have to trade? Is the Gleam giveaway contest for Clash, which is posted in the description and on X. This basically all you have to do is follow Clash's socials, join our Discord, tune into night streams, and you could win pretty grand prizes. First winner, first top grand prize winner gets 5 SOL. And then you got 5 winners with 1 SOL and 1 winner winning a T3, which is pretty significant. And this ends in 16 days, right? So everyone should be participating and everyone should be checking out Clash because, again, I think it's the best project on Solana right now. Best community project, I'd say. Not like compared to like Jupiter or anything like that. I mean, no. Jupiter is still probably the most useful dApp on Solana. You know, I still don't have any numbers on Litecoin or HBAR's ETF. I wish, you know, the site I get data from would actually include them. I'm kind of curious how much inflow they have. Yeah, an XRP ETF should be coming out. I thought it was today. XRP is up 5%. So this could be the jolt XRP needs, besides my educational video, to push it back to above $3. God candle incoming. I mean, it's looking like it. You know, the suppressors and manipulators, whoever they are, could only hold the market down for so long. Right? Just like that Popcat liquidation thing on Hyperliquid I showed. Some of them are just trying to cause panic, trying to cause people to lose money and get out so that they can actually accumulate lower. And this is especially the case for Bitcoin. I could definitely see it. Because you know, Bitcoin's limited. It's scarce. I talked about how, what, 800,000 Bitcoin left? The exchanges, there's not that much to go around. Especially like guys like Vanguard and BlackRock who, you know, probably personally have bought billions upon billions upon billions in the last few months. They probably don't want retail to get super excited again. They don't want retail FOMO to take over. They want to buy as much as possible. It's always the same thing, you know, like the Wyckoff pattern, right? Like a lot of you guys heard of Wyckoff pattern. You know, why is there something called Wyckoff pattern? It's something that the whales do with stocks for accumulation. Like that's what Wyckoff, if you look at it, the Wyckoff pattern, the accumulation phase, whatever you call it, is basically whales manipulating a stock. And then while they're driving people out, they're accumulating at the bottom and then they let it go and then it pops up. So, I mean, there are a lot of sophisticated traders and whales that have been in markets for a long time. Way longer than you and I. They've been doing it in stocks, and now a lot of them are doing it in crypto too. Waiting does suck ass, according to Chuck Finley. I do agree. That's why it's better to just like close your portfolio and play Clash Royale instead, and get frustrated even more by doing that. Last night I didn't stream because I wasn't feeling too well, but I played like probably 30 games in a row, and I lost like 15 of those games, and I won 15 games, so it was about even, but those losses just like make you so frustrated. I was like so depressed over them. Some of them were just like cheesy or stupid losses or something like that. That game is too good at balancing things, manipulating things, kind of like the whales on Bitcoin. Any thoughts on BNN Mart? No, I'm neutral on it. I'm not a big ETH guy. I'm glad Tom Lee is accumulating ETH, but I'm just not a big ETH guy. JL Molly, I appreciate that. I'm putting a lot of effort into Clash. The prediction market is coming. Speaking of which, you know, prediction market is so big that oh, maybe I don't have the article, but I saw it somewhere. Yeah, look at this. I mean, like Poly Market, I would say by far is the most successful crypto project. Okay, outside of Bitcoin, Poly market has done the most in terms of attracting deals and getting publicity and just branching out of Polygon. They're just like, there's nothing to do with Polygon anymore. Their prediction market is so big that, you know, you have exchanges using their data. You have like CNBC reporting on Poly market odds. Now they have entered a deal with UFC so people could bet on, obviously, the fighters and stuff. You know, this is what crypto can become in the future. Just Poly market's like kind of like the first to lead, but eventually we're gonna have awesome and very viral social apps or trading apps or whatever apps, games, you know. But it just hasn't happened yet. It's just too early. But Poly market is probably number one though. But anyways, why I was saying this is because prediction markets are super hot. Besides Poly market, there's the other one, I think called She. I think that's how you pronounce it. But people just like, people love to bet. Look at sports betting, how big it become like right away, basically, as soon as they legalized it. People just love to make bets. People like to gamble. But anyways, yeah, for Clash, we're building out prediction market too. That's coming soon, sooner than expected. I think it's going to be big. It's going to be big for Clash, big for tournaments, big everything that involves Clash. So I'm very excited about it. Breaking Michael Burry to close down the hedge funds by year end after acknowledging he doesn't understand today's market. Is that, are you just making fun of him or are you for real? Oh, this one right here. Michael Burry of Big Shorts fame deregister Cyan Asset Management. What? Wow, as of November 10th, he closed down his business. It's deregistered now or terminated. So, yeah. You know, I don't get the thing here. I just don't get the thing with Michael Burry, okay? He made a brilliant move in 2008, estimated that the housing market would crash. Great. Great. But since 2008, he's just making all these negative, bad calls against everything and everyone. Just because you shorted the housing market doesn't mean you have to short everything else. Like he just came out and said, you know, I'm going to short NVIDIA and Palantir. Just wait another 6 months to 12 months. That's a guaranteed loss for him. Like, why would you short NVIDIA? I get you could think that AI may be overvalued, but NVIDIA is the #1 company in the world and it's not going to stop making chips. But there's other things that he shorted against. He called Bitcoin a big bubble. If he could have short Bitcoin, he would have. Like, there's so many things that he shorted before from 2008 to now in the last, 20 years, almost 20 years. That's all been wrong. Like, I don't get why he's not like Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff has to have this stick where he's negative on Bitcoin. I get that. But like, if you're a normal asset manager, your point is to make money. You don't have to just short. You could go long too, but I never hear him go long on anything. It's always like there's a bubble, there's something, and something. Like he's got caught in that mindset, like, oh, I have to be known as like a shorter, like a famous shorter or something. Like, I don't get that prospect. He has a name for himself. He could go longs and make money on longs. Why does he only have to short? I just don't get that. mentality. Like, not for him. He could go positive. People would still listen. IRS announces 2026 401k contribution limits, raises saving cap upwards. Starting 2026, employees can defer $24,500 into workplace plans, up from $23,500, so it went up 1%. Only 14% of participants maxed out 401ks in 2024, according to Vanguard. That's not a whole lot. That's not a whole lot. Why can't that limit be higher? Anyways, if you are working a 9-to-5 job, right? I do think 401ks are useful, especially if the employer is matching. That's how you're making free money, right? A lot of employers match 50%, 75%, 100%. It's just like free money. Although, if you're trying to get rich off of 401ks, then don't do it for that reason. That's not going to help you. But at least it's insurance policy. That's the thing. You know, when you get older, at least you can take this out and use it. But you're essentially getting free money if your employer matches. If your employer does not match at all, then I don't know if it's actually worth it. I don't know. I never contributed a lot when I was working. Just a little bit, but never a lot. I just think you could do much better if you just invested yourself. Like if your employer didn't match, you know, you could take 24/5 and throw it into anything, and probably do better than what that 401k would give you. Hi from Arizona. So the big question is, when are we going to go back up? Is it over? You tell me, okay? There's no magic 8-ball that I own that will tell you, okay, 11 a.m. of this day is when it's over officially, and then we start heading higher. No one knows. You only know after the fact, okay? You only get confirmation after you have gone through it. But that's not the important thing. Don't focus on near term, short term. No one knows. Everyone is just speculating. You got to focus on long term. Long term, we know. We have a lot of data, a lot of history. And every single time we have these scary moments, okay, we get through it. Just like these times. No one could have guessed, like, to the dot, the day Bitcoin starts breaking out. Like, everyone's just speculating. But if you look at it in cumulative, you zoom out, then you know, okay, yeah, it's probably around this time period, because we have seen it, like, bouncing off of this, the 50-week MA. Or, you know, there's some huge catalyst, some great macro stuff that happened that drives us higher, yes. But no one knows the exact day or exact time. It's too silly to even ask that question. Oh, someone posted the H-bar ETF inflow. You got 22, 20, 30 million, a couple of days, 2 million, So it's pretty low, pretty low. I just don't see a lot of demand for H bar ETF. I'm surprised Canary even like wanted to come out with it that quickly. There's others that they could have come out with first, like XRP ETF. I think volume is gonna be huge. And then even Solana, I mean not Solana, Cardano. Cardano ETF I think would do better than Hedera ETF. Maybe Andy says maybe the exact time is the Clash Vegas party. Maybe that's December 6th. So this is the last chance. Tomorrow will be the last chance cut off to get invited. So you can buy a T3 NFT and still get an invite. If you can't make it, you can be on a Zoom call. But tomorrow will be the deadline. That's it. No more registrations afterwards. This is absurd. This is like saying, like, if you're in charge of some report and then you go on vacation and then you don't generate it, right? Like you come back and you're like, well, I can't generate it anymore. It's going to be forever lost. That's how silly as this sounds. Like we have all the data. Why would you not release it? You should just release it. With the next report, you should release the last 2 months. Right? But to say, oh, like we'll never get them again, it's just so silly. Just like it's so silly while we were having the government shutdown, they couldn't send one person in to pull the numbers. Like, I don't know. So some of these things just don't make a lot of sense. Our tournament is open for Clash. The entry is open, so you can register. We always have about like between 250 to 300. I'm hoping that we could get more. There are more traditional Clash Royale players that are coming in and trying to win, but everyone that participates, even everyone that spectates, has a chance to win. So you have some prizes here for first to 10. And the prize get doubled if you hold 20,000 Clash. But, you know, random players get selected to win. Random spectators get selected to win. We're going to make these tournaments. The tournaments are the highlights, right, of the project. And there's so much more. Like I said, the prediction market is going to be based around tournaments, but other things that involve Clash. And we're going to make it so that there's going to be rewards. You know, like a reward program for participating in tournaments as well. There's going to be a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And you can learn about the treasury that we have raised through the sale of NFTs and donations. You can learn about NFTs, how to buy, the giveaways that we're doing periodically. I used to do a lot more, but right now I'm trying to do less and concentrate more on the tournament. It's all on the webpage. You guys should check it out. Do you need to hold Clash as a spectator? You can always watch for free. But if you want to win, yes, you have to hold some Clash. All players are free to join and watch for free. You can join the tournament and just play for fun. You don't care about anything, like you or your kids or whatever. You just want to have some fun. A lot of people play with their kids. This is the reason why I got in it, because my kids got me involved in something that we could bond over. Like, if you just want to play for free, feel free to do so. You'll just, like, you'll play others that are very inexperienced and some people that are, like, pros, and you'll get destroyed in 10 seconds. So, It's fun all around. But if you want to win, obviously, then you got to hold some cash. We are up slightly. AMD turned back green, and then all these others, like Coinbase is down slightly. Hood is down massively. Don't know why. Nvidia down massively. You know, sometimes Wall Street just does not know. Does not know what they want. Wall Street is very finicky, like retail investors. One day they'll say, oh yeah, it's great, let's load up. And next day they're like, oh, it sucks, let's sell. Just like retail investors. Not everyone on Wall Street is like that, but a lot of them are. The big boys are not like that. That's why they own everything. That's why like Vanguard and BlackRock and State Street and Fidelity, they own everything because they don't act like that. Just curious, is your family originally from any Asian country? You can't tell by looking at me. Definitely not a Latino community or a European community. What do you think, Magic Flav? NC blockchain console. If my kids are into tournaments, would it be appropriate for them to attend the Vegas party via Zoom? No, it's a 21 event. If they are 21 plus, then yes. If they're not, then no. Yeah, I'm Taiwanese. I just say Chinese. I don't care. But a lot of Taiwanese people care. If you ask them, they're like, I'm Taiwanese. I'm not Chinese. I'm like, I don't care. Okay, I'm just saying I'm Chinese. It's a strange question to ask. You know, there's like no TV shows to watch anymore. Sometimes I just want to sit down and relax. Like, it seems like every good show is done. The only thing that I'm still watching that's probably will come to an end soon is Tulsa King, which has been really good this season. Sylvester Stallone is like really brilliant in that role, and I'm pretty sure he's a show writer too. So brilliant writing all around. But outside of that, I just don't have any interest in any new show. All the other shows have ended. Kind of sucks. Yesterday, I couldn't even watch ESPN. The Lakers were playing, and I realized there's no ESPN anywhere. I used to have YouTube TV, but they have a dispute with Disney, so they don't show ESPN. And then, you know, unless you have regular cable, you got to go on Hulu and subscribe to like live TV to get ESPN, but it's like $100 a month. I'm like, I just watch it maybe once or twice a month. So, and then I got NBA League Pass, and I thought NBA League Pass would allow me to watch it. No. Somehow the games on ESPN do not get shown on League Pass. So it's like they make it so damn difficult to watch some of these games. It's ridiculous. Yeah, there are too many streaming services. So like whenever there's a movie I want to watch, I have to Google it to see if it's on a streaming service and which one it is exactly. And if not, then I go on Amazon Prime and just rent a movie. But normally I have to check through like 6 different streaming services to see which one has a certain movie or something. Yeah, some NBA games are on Prime now, which is weird. Some are back on NBC, which I think you can watch on Peacock, and then some are on ESPN, which no one seems to have other than Hulu, but you have to pay $100 a month for, which is ridiculous. I don't even know. Integra Type S or TLX Type S? You mean Type what? You mean the Type R? Wait. Oh, TLX? No, no. Just get Integra Type S. It's the Civic Type R. It's basically the same car. You'll have a lot of fun with that. I'm pretty sure. I haven't driven a new Type R. I've driven the old one, but I'm sure the new one's even better. And I'm sure the Type S drives the same way, except you're covered in luxury. The new Prelude looks okay, but it's gonna be really slow. They should just embrace speed and make it fast and fun again. Bring back a 6-speed and put in a powerful turbo engine in there. That's what people want. People don't want no hybrid or EVs. I think Honda's kind of late at like coming back to the fold. They're still pushing all of their new like hybrids and EVs right now. I spent 15 years in Taiwan, loved it there. I visited like 10 years ago. Honestly, I wasn't that impressed. It's an older city, so it's not like a newer city. Um, their elevated trains are quite nice to get around. Their food is good, but like I've gotten used to American Chinese food, which is packed with salt and MSG. So when you go back to like an Asian country like Taiwan or Hong Kong, that I've been to both, um, it doesn't taste as flavorful because they just don't pack things with much salt and MSG. That's the honest reality. All the food here is just so packed with so much bad stuff. So if you actually have some real authentic stuff, you can actually be disappointed. But I do want to go back again. Disney falls 8%. That's not a surprise. I can't even recall the last good Disney movie or show. Well, I saw a preview. They're gonna come out with the Mandalorian movie or something. I don't know if that's a good idea. MSG is pretty important in food. It gives it like a sweet flavor, is what I'm told. Predator Badlands is under Disney. Is that really? That was a good movie. So if that was under Disney, it was okay. I think Deadpool versus Wolverine was probably the last good like comic book movie. PB Lau, you need to chill, man. Every single comment is about Jensen and Taiwan. Just chill. Top Gun Maverick was also Disney? Or just, oh, you're just saying like a good movie? Yeah, that was a great movie. Great movie. Predator Badlands is also a good movie. Not great, but it's a good movie. All right, I think that's it. Just rambling on and on and on about randomness. Stay strong, my friends. The government shutdown is over. Finally, we can get some data and get some normal activity going. Flights resuming. These are all great things. But I do think, again, we're still being manipulated. It's done for a reason. It's to drive retail out. While the big boys like Vanguard and BlackRock and Fidelity and others are still loading up. Fundamentals have not changed. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight. Hopefully, one way or another. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out Clash. You won't regret it.